Hi, I'm Mark Poole. I want to share a fascinating book with you entitled Four Arguments for the Elimination of Television by Jerry Mander. I read this several years ago. It still has an impact on my thinking. A fascinating book. He first wrote it back in 1978. It is more true now than ever, I would say. He goes through a very thoughtful, logical analysis of how television is impacting our society, and he comes to the conclusion that it's not that we need to turn off the television and watch it less. It's not that we need to unplug it and watch it rarely. He says that we need to destroy television from the face of the earth because it is so detrimental to a civilized society. Now, as someone who's had my suspicions about television in the past, it really was sort of preaching to the choir, and I soaked it up. I fully followed his logic and his reasoning, and I am concerned that the internet age and social media has only added to this problem, not taken it away. So I took 19 notes in this book, a lot of take-home points for me personally, but just to hit the highlights, he mentions that after 1945, about 99% of American households have at least one television. Pretty much everybody is watching television to some extent, some more than others. The average daily intake is at least 4 hours, sometimes 6. And nowadays, I get it. Most of the time, we're on our phone. We're watching Facebook or the news or something, not the television screen in the living room. But the viewing habits and the impact are similar. He says that this is interesting because of all of human history, this is the first time that we have substituted secondary experiences for primary, meaning that we may watch a movie, a video about the Mona Lisa, and we think we have experienced it, but watching a movie about it is nothing like being there and experiencing the five senses. In fact, this reliance on primarily visual input is part of why television is so detrimental. So, for instance, television, although it has a verbal component, primarily is transmitted through visual images. But interestingly, you cannot reject an image. There is no rejection of an image. Once you see it, you might try to disagree with it somehow, but it's not something you can disagree with. This is different than verbal arguments, okay? So if someone, Donald Trump or whoever it is, gets on television and declares something, you may disagree with it. You may think, I know that's not true. If Donald Trump said that the sky is orange all the time, you can look up in the sky and say, I know that's not true, it's blue. But if you see Donald Trump, you can't reject that image. You cannot erase it from your memory, and you can't even actively deny it. It will come into your mind, into your conscious or subconscious mind, and now it's a part of your overall knowledge. The problem with that is that as viewers, in as much as it's a passive activity, we are at the mercy of the creators of the content who are dictating to us what we're going to see. Yes, you can change the channel, but that's just changing it to another person who is now telling you what you are dictating what you're going to see and what you're going to hear. The other main problem with television is there's no time to think about it. Most people watch a show, they click to another one, they keep on going. There's no time to pause, no time to digest, no time to think about it, unlike reading a book. If you read a book, you come to a part you don't understand, you stop, you put it down, you think about it a little bit, maybe not even exactly consciously, but your subconscious mind digest it, you come back later, maybe read that part again, or you move on, but there's time to digest it. With television, it's a constant barrage of images and content that is almost impossible to reject, and so the creators of the content can steer what you believe in subtle ways so that before you even know it, you may be agreeing with something that you otherwise wouldn't have. So, a fascinating book. I would recommend it highly to anybody who's concerned about media and the impact it can have on your life. The fact that many Americans now don't really think for themselves. They just absorb Facebook information or other dubious sources, and they don't really think about, is that true or not? Is that something I believe or not? Is that valid or truth or not? And television, I do believe, has changed our culture permanently. I wouldn't recommend destroying it, I guess. impossible task, but I think all of us would do well to turn off our devices, television, Facebook, your phone, interact primarily, have the experience with your spouse, your children, your loved ones, your friends, and don't rely on a secondary means in order to accomplish